Fantastic. We'll keep this in.
You can save Yona, Vice.
You missed the last one? That's spicy. It was a big one last time.
No, stay back.
You should watch the VOD if you have the time or the inclination.
Take it easy, yeah?
I've been intentionally keeping this from you guys. I figure we can see it now. Hopefully it's not going to spoil anything major that hasn't already been revealed. And if it does, I'll just cut it out of the VOD. Hahaha, suckers. Also, welcome to the stream, Frontier Jazz. Happy to have you here. Hey there, Perfect 10. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. You were informed properly in time by Twitch itself? Well, that's fantastic. Special Friday stream? No, I couldn't on Tuesday because I was really bummed out. So I did it on Wednesday instead.
No, you've got to stop this.
And I didn't want to do 2 streams in a row, so yesterday's stream is today.
Kill him, you glorious bastard. I have a reason to live.
Well, that's pretty fantastic, Jazz. I'm glad. I put so many tendrils out into the internet so that people will see that I'm streaming. I don't know what else to do. Yeah, this was the right idea. Waiting until we beat the first ending. Now we can see all of this and feel like, something was accomplished.
We're the same. Tools in the hands of a master.
This ends here.
Kaine!
Our true memories are still there. How dare you ignore them?
We were hoping to put it off for 100 years or so.
I shall fight by their side, now and forever.
There's a little bit that we haven't seen yet.
And everybody in it.
Or heard yet.
His sword one last time.
But that's fine.
Kaine!
I'm going to save you. I swear it.
Don't worry about it.
Thanks for always being there for me.
You say the line? Say the line. She didn't say the line. I'm gonna wait a little bit to see if she'll say the line. And then we'll start. Last time we played NieR Replicant, we beat the game. Or rather, we got ending A. Now it is time to go for ending B. The playthrough will be very similar to the playthrough of ending A, but there will be noticeable differences. We're going to be tackling some side quests. We're going to be doing more of the 100% stuff that usually is in the title. Oh, here it is.
Start making sense, you rotten book, or you're gonna be sorry. Maybe I'll rip your pages out one by one, or maybe I'll put you in the goddamn furnace. How can someone with such a big smart brain get hypnotized like a little bitch, huh? Oh, Shadow Lord, I love you, Shadow Lord. Come over here and give Vice a big sloppy kiss, Shadow Lord. Now pull your head out of your goddamn ass and start fucking helping us.
In the original NieR, in the very first one, that's how the game started. You got some splash screens, then that, and then you can go to the main menu to load up your file. It's pretty spicy. What we're watching now, I believe, is the original NieR opening cutscene. So I guess we'll go through that as well. Why the hell not? I'm feeling charitable. It was nice of them to include it. When I started this playthrough of the remake, I had 3 stipulations. I needed the Drakengard reference, I needed boar drifting, and I needed Kaine to say that line at the opening. I've gotten all 3 of those things. I have all the things I need. And plus, this doubles as some buffer time to let some more people show up. So I'm really killing like 15 birds with 1 stone. It's the greatest trick shot you've ever seen, happening right now in front of you, in 720p, 60 frames per second. She gets impaled a lot in this game. That happens. It happens with some frequency. At least I got 60 frames. You bet. You know, we shoot for the moon on this stream. We don't frisk around over here. I love that Kaine's way of getting you out of the way of danger is like fucking roundhouse kicking you in the head. That's teamwork. Hive boob beard. Ah yeah, Hook. Hook's got many boobas. Did anyone betray us at the end in Drakengard fashion? No. Everyone kind of, actually, no, someone did. There was definitely betrayal. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. 2 people, actually, at the same time. They didn't even wait. All right, so now that we've watched the intros, now that I've done my intro, we can finally begin playing NieR Replicant Playthrough B. Let's go. There's going to be some reading, just letting you guys know. I'll do it for you, though, don't worry. I've got you covered. In honey. Don't ask questions. It's important for later.
Whenever I interacted with Kaine, I was reminded about something from my past. Maybe my mind has been confusing her with my sister this whole time. Anyway...
So she's been asleep in carbonite for 5 years. Note that we're not starting over from the beginning, but the halfway point. The sound of rain filled the village. The steep cliffs that surrounded the area magnified sound, causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. To be fair, I think NieR might have been heading for a just betrayal even. I don't know. Just because he's been a bit of a sociopath? He's the good guy. He's the protagonist. Thin wisps of smoke streamed from huts as the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly toward the wooden, hawk-shaped weather vane at the center of town. The wanderer reached the vein, which had existed for as long as any could remember, and stared. The child's face was simultaneously delicate and fierce, like a teacup that had survived a shipwreck. Those traits combined with pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. If the beak turns east, I go home. If it stays west, then The child blinked. Rain slowly dripped down the young one's short hair and began its long descent to the ground. Come on. Come on. The child felt a slight breeze and watched as the vein slowly creaked to life. Spinning this way and that for a moment, it finally settled, with the beak pointing firmly toward the east. East? Really? Before the vein could move again, a jagged rock came spinning and tumbling through the air, striking home against the child's head. The force of the blow dropped the child to the ground as a hail of stones began to fall all around. Oh no, they found me. A heartbreaking smile crept across the child's face as the stones continued their assault. Through the rain, the sound of multiple footsteps grew louder before a voice rang out. Yoo-hoo, Kaine! The voice belonged to Demo, worst of all the bullies in the Eyrie. As Kaine struggled to stand, a final stone came skittering through the mud and bounced against her foot. Blood oozed from a cut above her eye and blurred her vision, but she could make out the shapes of Demo and his usual gang of idiots. The boy seemed taken aback for a moment by Kaine's seeming indifference to the blood dripping from her face, but quickly regained his bravado. What's up, freak? You like the rain? You like getting all wet? Or did you finally decide to run away from home? Though she knew it was futile, Kaine turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled to surround her, cruelty burning in their eyes. Kaine knew those were not the only eyes on her. The tormentor's parents watched from the safety of their homes. She was attuned to this sensation. It was one she had experienced many times before. While some villagers simply turned a blind eye to the actions of their children, many encouraged it openly. In a society ruled by superstition and fear, Kaine was something to be hated, and if possible, destroyed. I didn't say you could leave, freak. Demo's words chewed at her like a worm through an apple. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong. Be brave. He can't hurt me. He can't hurt me. He can't hurt. Oh, look, the little freak is gonna cry. What's wrong? Are you sad that everyone hates you and wants you dead? Kaine prayed for the rain to flood down and carry her away from a world that seemed to have no place for her. But if there were gods, they chose to ignore her. As Demo crept ever closer, the clouds began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. I'm useless. A failure. I wish Demo's rock had taken my head off. Kaine couldn't meet Demo's leering gaze. She lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on his breath. The boy grabbed Kaine's face with thick fingers and yanked it upwards. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze back and jammed his thumb against her eyelid to pry it open. Show me! No. Did you just say no? Demo grinned evilly. You don't say no to me. No one says no to me. Even taking his attention from Kaine, he called to his cohorts. Come on, guys, let's give the freak what she deserves. As soon as Demo finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kaine. Demo paused, still grinning, as Kaine curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. I don't get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for, huh? Everyone knows what you really are. Kaine ignored the question, choosing instead to stare at the weather vane. It continued to point east, as if supremely confident about the future it had chosen for her. Go home? Yeah, that's a funny joke for someone with dead parents and no home to go to. Freak! Chanted the children. Freak! 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 Kaine closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. As the clutching hands of the village children closed around her, she bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her world entire. The rain fell, but the pain never came. Only when the laughter of her tormentors turned to terrified cries did she dare open a single blood-caked eye. Kaine was shocked to see Demo sprawled on the ground, holding his head and screaming in pain. She could see blood welling from the spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. Oh my God, he's crying. He's actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves, as if waiting for someone to step forward and take charge. When no savior emerged, they began an uneasy shuffle away from Kaine. But the young girl was the least of their concerns. Instead, their attention was wrapped on the ancient woman standing a few feet away. After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a voice thick with rage. "Hurts like a bitch, don't it? Now I suggest you scatter before I throw another one. And if any of you little bastards ever touch my Kaine again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You can count on it." The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Demo was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, she ground her palm into the wound and twisted back and forth. "Ow!" he screamed, leaping to his feet. "Stop it! What are you doing?" "Quit whining. Ain't no one ever died from a scratch." "You hit me with a rock, you stupid bitch! A big one! That thing could have killed me!" The old woman shrugged. Death is the best cure for stupid. Demo's face twisted with rage at her words. Locking his eyes on Kaine, he took a step backward and spat on the ground. "Get out! Leave this village! No one wants you here, either of you!" Seeing the old woman grab another stone, Demo and his companions turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked out a single laugh. "Ha! Look at the fat boy go! Guess he's healthy enough to run from a fight." The woman's smile faded as she turned her attention to Kaine. Kneeling down, she removed her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulders, then produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting at the blood on her forehead. "Oh, Kaine," she said, "why didn't you fight back? You're stronger than that lot." The words of her grandmother stung Kaine, and she turned away. "Don't be nice to me," she said. "I don't deserve it. Nothing. Nothing matters anymore." Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall on the muddy ground below. "Everyone hates me. They think I cause bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. I wish I was dead." As Kaine's tears turned to sobs, she felt her grandmother's hands on her shoulders. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength, and Kaine found herself unable to turn away. "Don't talk like that, girl. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next, and it grants no mercy to any that attempt the crossin'. You got a duty to fight until your last breath. Understand?" The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. "You know the pain of losing someone close to you, Kaine. You know because you survived it." As the words hit home, Kaine was struck by the force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know of her grandmother, but when her parents died, the woman quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kaine called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to violence, and their first few years together had not been easy. But with each year that passed, Kaine and her grandmother had grown closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood caking her face, that Kaine truly understood the depths of her affection. Here was a woman who had seen hard times, who had seen death, who had fought through all these things, and somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone could understand Kaine's pain and loneliness, it was her. Do I make you sick, Grandma? Course not. Don't be an ass. Kaine drew her grandmother's moth-eaten shawl around her body and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't... Hush, interrupted Grandma. I'll not hear another word of this nonsense. You're my granddaughter and I love you, and if folks have a problem with that, they can just go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wreath of dried flowers in Kaine's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stems or losing a single petal was remarkable, and the beauty of it made Kaine want to cry all over again. Oh my gosh, these are lunar tears! Grandma, you made this for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers. Most people could live their entire lives without ever seeing one, and yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kaine reached up and touched the wreath, as if she couldn't believe it was real. Where did you find these? I just stumbled on them while I was out doing the shopping. The old woman turned away as she spoke, leading Kaine to suspect that the search had been more difficult than she was letting on. The pains she took to construct the ornament, let alone track down the flowers used in its construction, made Kaine's heart hurt. She reached up and gently adjusted the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother as she squinted at it. These old hands have trouble with delicate work, but it sure looks good on a pretty girl like you. Kaine blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Course you are. What a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. Her grandmother smiled. We're going to be fine, you and me, she said. Long as we got each other, we'll be just fine. Kaine took her grandmother's hand in hers, and the two of them struggled to their feet. As they began the long walk home, Kaine gripped the hand with all her might, as if trying to stop smoke from drifting away on the wind. The rain had stopped. Kaine stood beneath the weather vane, watching it spin in lazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. I don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough, even if it's just us against the world. Kaine let her gaze drift up past the vane and into the cloudy sky. The last faint hints of a rainbow were slowly fading. As she turned and headed for home, the light scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away on the breeze. In the distance, Kaine heard the steady sounds of an axe striking wood. The noise had a purposeful quality to it, as if she was hearing a master woodsman go about his work. The firewood being produced, however, was as far from a work of art as could be. Pieces of every shape and size were being flung about a barren yard with wild abandon. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe! Kaine's grandmother flailed away with the axe, filling the air with both splinters of wood and words that would make the most hardened sailor blush. Grandma! Called Kaine. That you, Kaine? Yelled the old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. Don't get too close or I might take your goddamn foot off by mistake. She brought the axe down on a piece of wood, sending chips flying in every direction. One spun just past Kaine, close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. Once she'd scuttled to a safe distance, she cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, This is just a West Virginia grandmother. Absolutely. Grandma, do you need help? I can get you water or lunch or a new axe or something. The axe, poised to strike another wobbly blow, paused in midair. The old woman considered her granddaughter's offer for a moment, then smiled. Tell you what, since I'm doing such a piss-poor job of chopping, why don't you come here and take over so I can get the water? Shades have been restless lately, and I don't want you running into one of them bastards. Relinquishing the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Gathering water was by far the more difficult of the two jobs, but Kaine knew better than to complain. Once Grandma's mind was set, there was no changing it. Kaine did her best to help with chores, but Grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Kaine knew the real reason. She didn't want her granddaughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Kaine moved in, Grandma decided to take up residence a good distance from the area. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and her granddaughter, and rare were the days when any but the two of them could be found on the rocky acre of land they called home. Kaine enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years in such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Kaine turned her attention to the task at hand. She had never chopped wood before in her life, and soon discovered why the old woman hated the chore. Swing after swing of the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood, and when she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself in the log and refused to budge. Frustrated, Kaine swung the axe around her head and threw it, log and all, across the yard. Damn it! Crap! She suddenly understood the joy her grandmother felt in a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe, forced it from the wood, and resumed chopping. She had a natural skill with a blade, but the task was challenging, and blisters soon began to form on her small, pink hands. This is tough, and my logs are all weird sizes. Spitting on her palms and ignoring the pain, Kaine redoubled her efforts. Wood chopping is your favorite camping chore? Well, you should help Kaine out. Take over, man. Just as she was developing a rhythm, Grandma returned from the village. Setting down her buckets with a small sigh, she took one look at the logs and coughed out a wheezy laugh. Pretty clumsy, girl. You better practice if you... Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Kaine dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. Grandma! The old woman shook her head and pointed a trembling finger at the bucket. Get the bucket. Can't let it spill. Kaine steadied the bucket with a foot as she knelt by her grandmother. A small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new home in the hem of her dress, but Kaine didn't notice. Grandma? Grandma, what's happening? Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulders and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arms and batted Kaine away. Stop that! Just stop! She cried, breathing heavily. It ain't like I'm dying. Just tired from the trip is all. Kaine desperately wanted to believe her, but one look at the old woman's shaking hands and worn face told her more than words ever could. Her grandmother had lived a long, hard life, and it seemed the bill was finally coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Kaine was ending. Sooner than either of them had feared, the positions would be reversed. The next morning, Kaine came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand. Grandma, you're sick, and you need medicine. I'm going to the village. The old woman shook her head and tried to rise, but Kaine gently pushed her down. It's all right, she said. I'll be fine. Her grandmother fixed her with a gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed an eternity, she finally lowered her eyes and sighed. Well, I don't like it, goddammit. But I guess I should quit being so stubborn and let you grow up. The old woman watched as Kaine strapped on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. hours later, as an unseen sun made its way across a dark and rainy sky, she was still watching. Kaine moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother gave her was still there. Every noise caused her to spin on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by a shade, or worse, Demo and his gang. But she encountered neither tormentors nor shades, and Kaine finally found herself at the entrance to the village. The few adults she could see glanced sideways at her, then muttered to each other behind raised hands before slinking away into the shadows. Her heart racing, Kaine took a series of rapid, shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. I have to prove myself. I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong. She chanted those words to herself over and over as she slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on a rotund older woman who was angrily waving her arms in the air and telling anyone who would listen exactly what she thought of Kaine's presence. Hey, lady, said Kaine with a bravado she did not feel. Where's the apothecary? The woman's flabby cheeks shook in bewildered anger. How dare this thing speak to me? They seemed to say, but Kaine saw that her eyes held a different emotion. Fear. Yeah, we're both scared, lady. Trust me on this one. Which way? Kaine repeated. The woman pointed at a small building to her right before hitching up her dress and stumbling off in the other direction. Kaine cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary, but the new emotion had little time to take root, for as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Demo. He'd clearly been sent here on some kind of family errand, because his gang of followers was nowhere to be found. Oh my god, he sputtered. What are you doing here, freak? The insult was delivered without force, and Kaine happily ignored it. Stretching on tiptoes to see over the counter, she asked the shopkeeper for the medication. Ha! Barked Demo. That old bitch finally keel over? Go to hell, Demo. The boy's eyes grew so wide they seemed ready to fall out of his head. But before he could let fly a comeback, or worse, a punch, the apothecary told them to knock it off before he kicked them out of the store. Demo slunk out of the shop, cursing Kaine under his breath. Once he was gone, she allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medication. Countless tiny bottles filled the cramped store, each with a label written in some indecipherable language. An ocean of aromas assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic, but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a variety of supplies gave Kaine a sense of peace. Surely, in a world so vast, there would be a place that she could call home. On the far wall, behind the counter, rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture had once contained bright, vibrant colors, but time had worked its cruel magic, and they were beginning to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. You like that picture? Kaine turned to find the apothecary with a small vial of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad, and they seemed to stare through her and into nothing as he spoke. That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was just a little girl. She's been dead a long time now. Kaine didn't know how to respond. She just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. Pictures are wonderful things, continued the shopkeeper. They let the ones closest to you live on forever. He shook his head slightly, then looked down at Kaine and smiled. Handing her the medicine, he reached into his sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crayons. You should have these. There's no one left that I wish to draw. Kaine took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. Yes, I've heard the rumors about you, he said. It's a small village and word travels fast. Between you and me, I'm not sure which of them to believe, but I also don't think they matter much. I know your grandmother, Kali, and I think the way she was driven out of this town is just deplorable. Grandma's name is Kali? Thought Kaine suddenly. She was still mulling this new fact over in her mind as she reached out and gently took the crayons from the apothecary's hands. Your grandmother is an old friend of mine, he said as Kaine scooted away yet again, and I owe her much. I wager she wouldn't like it if you drew a picture of her. Yes, I think she would... Wait. I wager she would like it, my bad. Yes, I think she would like that very much. Kaine murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a villager treated her with anything but complete contempt. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible step, but it was a step nonetheless. And with enough tiny steps, she might one day discover the rest of the world. When Kaine returned home, she found her grandmother asleep in her bed. Her feet were blackened and raw, even bleeding a bit in places, leading Kaine to think that she had been pacing around the room until exhaustion finally caught up with her. She placed the medicine by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found the old woman's hand clasped around her arm. "Back already, are you?" asked the grandmother with a yawn. "Come here, let me have a look at you." Grandma sat up and examined Kaine from head to toe. Finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild, she leaned back and allowed herself to relax. "Well, how was it? Those bastards give you any trouble?" "It was kind of fun," said Kaine with a small smile. "No, seriously, it was." "Fun, huh?" asked her grandmother in a voice which implied she believed anything but. "Uh-huh. So anytime you need me to run an errand, just let me know." As she spoke, Kaine removed the crayons from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed her grandmother that she was going to sketch her portrait. "A portrait of me? Ridiculous. No one wants to stare at a wrinkled old crone." "But Grandma, it'll make you live forever." "Horse shit," said her grandmother, throwing back the sheet from her bed. "Living forever would just piss me off. Now put those crayons away and help me with dinner." But Kaine would not relent, and in the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of their house as if posing for a master artist. Kaine took up the crayons, eyed her subject carefully, and set to work. Just as her grandmother was about to nod off, Kaine finished the piece. After staring at it for a bit, she released it from her grip and let it slowly drift to the floor. "It's terrible. It doesn't look like you at all. I'm sorry, Grandma. I thought these crayons would, make drawing easy or something." The old woman's eyes narrowed at her granddaughter's disappointment. "Let me be the judge of that," she said, ignoring the pain in her back and reaching for the paper. The sketch could have been a person's face. It also could have been a boulder, a lump of clay, or an incredibly misshapen loaf of bread, all rendered in a chaotic array of colors. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time, then slowly wheezed out a laugh. "Oh, Kaine," she said between laughter, "you truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me, and I love it." "But..." "Hush, I won't hear any more bull about how ugly you think it is. It came from the heart, and I'll treasure it always." True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a place of honor above the kitchen table. In the days that followed, Kaine would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face, an action she interpreted as silent, mocking laughter. A week later, Kaine could stand it no more and asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. "Posh," said the old woman. "I'll take this down when they roll me in my shroud." She pondered this for a bit, then turned to Kaine and dropped to one knee. "Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before, and it makes me want to go on, so that someday you can feel the same happiness." It was a moment that burned itself in Kaine's memory, a perfect blend of pride and love and joy that came together to form a lifelong remembrance. She swore to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who had made her place in the world possible. Time moves on. People and memories move in and out of a life like ghosts passing through a hall, But this moment will be different, Kaine swore, because I will remember it forever. Forever. I said there would be reading. I was not joking. Kaine listened to the sound of crackling firewood and stared at the black object on her plate. She'd been pushing it around the wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned her courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made its home there, causing her face to twist with disgust. Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug. The old woman threw some more wood under the cooking pot and snorted. It's no bug, you fool girl, it's a berry. Why the hell would I be feeding you bugs? Yeah, well, it sure looks like a bug, said Kaine, and I think it's burnt or something because it smells terrible. With that, Kaine held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing as little as possible. Oh yeah, that's terrible, all right. Why, you little brat, laughed the old woman. Look at the sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me, and that's a fact. 5 years had passed since the moment when Kaine's grandmother saved her from the bullies. As is often the way with two stubborn people, their relationship had grown in fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber affairs were now filled with laughter and hurled abuse in equal measure. Kaine could not remember a time when she had been happier. As the years went by, Kaine started to shoulder more and more of the daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's legs grew weaker by the day, and she could no longer do many of the chores she used to take for granted. And so this morning found Kaine lacing up her work boots, with a breakfast of burned berry rolling through her belly. Where are you going today? Asked Grandma suddenly. Kaine looked up, surprised. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. Well, I was going to check out the kelma trees and see if they were ripe. I thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, and I'm going to pick up some flagstones, so I need to take the wheelbarrow. Flagstones? What in the hell for? Kaine stared at her grandmother, then held out an arm and swept it around their home. Constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubble, the old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. Grandma, a dying cat could shoot through this house. I'm going to build a stone wall so we have some protection. The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin to the world. God damn, girl, if a bunch of thieves want to ransack this old place, let 'em come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway. I'm not worried about thieves. I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday. The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. Well, shoot. I don't know why you have to do it today. We can worry about it some other... Grandma, no. If I don't go to the kelma trees, we won't eat tonight. You know that. A confused expression passed across the old woman's face, and for a moment, she was a small child lost at a carnival. Yes, she said after a bit. Yes, of course, you're right. I'm sorry, Kaine. Lately it seems my mind is... She didn't finish the thought, instead walking over to her nightstand and gently taking the wreath of lunar tears from the drawer. The flower's petals had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Kaine thought it was more beautiful now than the day she first received it. You're going to be a true woman soon, Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. So that means less chatter about shades and building defensive walls, and more talk about how beautiful you've become. Annoyed, Kaine reached up to remove the garland, but the look on her grandmother's face stopped her hand. You're a beautiful thing, said the old woman, and there ain't another like you in all the world. I'm very proud of you. Okay, Grandma, that's enough goddamn compliments for one day. Such a mouth on you. Where did that come from? Gee, I wonder. I'll teach you to sass me, girl, yelled Grandma. Suddenly she lurched forward and grabbed Kaine by the ears, pulling her around the room with a crazed grin on her face. Grandma, yelled Kaine in a quaking voice. Grandma, stop it! What the hell? The old woman stared at her and blinked, then slowly held her wrinkled hands out as if it was the first time she had ever seen them. I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girl. Sometimes my mind just... Kaine thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she'd ever seen. Listen, she began. Maybe I should stay home after all. No, I won't have you stay here to keep an eye on an old codger like me. You go get your fruit and your wall and whatnot. I'll be fine. Hey, Mark him. I'm still not sure if that's how to say your name. Yeah, I saw that. I am one of the unfortunate ones who saw that. I'm really torn. You know, I'm torn on it. On the one hand, fucking yikes. On the other hand, fucking gross. And on the third hand, he finally did it. he finally found his gal pal, you know? Chris Chan is a virgin no longer. We did it, guys. So, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. Welcome to the stream. Speaking of a lot, I've been reading for the last 42 fucking minutes, and we're gonna keep going. This is a novel. It is too much. It is too much. Not the novel, the Chris Chan thing. If I had to choose between learning that fact and reading this story 5 times in a row, I would pick this story every time. All right, you get your fruit and your wall and whatnot, I'll be fine. And when you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you. Kaine rolled her eyes, then kissed her grandmother on the forehead and made ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing at the walls of her heart. Kaine could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around. Don't turn around, she told herself. But in the end, the temptation was too great. She spun on her heel for one final look and saw a small, bent woman standing in front of a ramshackle hut with a sad expression on her face. God, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kaine worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. What little fruit she could collect was tossed carelessly into the wheelbarrow, and she only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day. Cursing herself for the lack of focus, Kaine pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. As she crested the final hill, she suddenly froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown fruit rolling back down the hill. Her gaze was transfixed by a thick black cloud that hovered just ahead. Tracing its path with a finger, Kaine suddenly felt her stomach knot in on itself. No. Oh, gods, no. Her grandmother's house was ablaze. The flames licked up as if trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma? Grandma! Kaine ran then, faster than she had ever moved in her life. Once she tripped on a stone and went sprawling into the rocky ground, but she leapt to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from her wounded hands and knees. As she got closer and closer, Kaine's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. It's too dark. It's too dark. It's not just fire. Can't be fire. Too much smoke. Gotta save her. Gotta save her. She burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt. Her worst suspicions confirmed. The smoke from the fire was mingling with the thick, inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet and achieved balance through means of a large armored tail, scales, horns, and claws sprouting from its body in a random, chaotic pattern, giving it the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Kaine, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlwinds spinning around the yard. For a moment, the creature retreated into a shimmering, inky blackness, as if her mind was unable to comprehend that such a thing could actually exist. But then the smell hit her, a blend of rotted meat and excrement, and the horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kaine responded with a scream of her own. "All right, you bastard," she thought as her scream echoed off the high cliffs around them. "It's you or me. Let's go." The shade eyed Kaine with bemused interest. Then it began looking from her to the house and back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it had so gleefully wrought. With dread building in her heart, Kaine glanced towards the house. Through the smoke and flames, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. "Grandma!" At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. "She's alive," thought Kaine. "Alive!" Kaine's legs sprang to life as she raced across the yard toward the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth and let out a roar powerful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kaine tumbling through the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Stars danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs worked. Get up. Get up. Get up, get up, get up now! As Kaine struggled to her feet, the shade stomped towards the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might as well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood into the air, then collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Kaine lurched to her feet, only to fall back to earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire. One or both of them were surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken trail of dust and blood in her wake. "Grandma, hold on. Just a little longer." Her grandmother's face was turning blue. Her eyes rolled back until only the whites were exposed. Kaine pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness, the distance seeming to increase with every second that passed. The shade glanced between the two women and flicked out its tongue, its giant mouth turning up at the corners. Short, panting breaths belched from somewhere deep inside its core. "Bastard! Laughing at us!" She had no idea how such a mindless creature could experience emotion, but there could be no doubt the shade was taking joy in their suffering. "Yeah, I see your plan." The shade moved its claw slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It was clearly keeping her alive only to snuff out her life when Kaine was close enough to touch her. "I'm gonna kill this bastard." Summoning all her strength, Kaine rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backwards, but she forced it from her mind and began to hobble towards the monster. Pulling a small knife from the pouch at her waist, she leapt on the foot that pinned her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. "Give her back!" she screamed. "Give her back to me!" It was like stabbing a rock. After a few swipes, the knife broke at the hilt with a dull snap. The shade's panted laughter again, then raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air toward the young girl that was latched to its foot. Kaine never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burning wreckage of the home. As she lay on the ground, with blood pouring from multiple wounds, a small, weak voice spoke up. "Kaine?" Kaine's vision blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough for her to make out her grandmother's hands reaching out to her through the smoke. "Grandma? Kaine, you gotta run. You can't best this one." Kaine grabbed the hands and held on with all her strength. "Grandma, come on, we have to go." The old woman coughed loudly. One of her hands, slick with blood, slipped from Kaine's grasp and thumped to the ground below. "Grandma, no! No!" "I said run, goddammit. You have to live. You have to get through." The thought would stay forever unfinished. Before she could say another word, the shade's clawed foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof and down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Blood oozed from the gaps in the creature's toes as the terrible, putrid smell assaulted Kaine's nose once again. She stared at the foot, dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not possibly be real. When the creature finally lifted its appendage, all that remained underneath was a twisted, unrecognizable mass of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Kaine blinked, trying to feel the hands which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of that embrace, the trembling of the fingers, but then the sensation drifted away on the breeze and was gone. Memories flashed through Kaine's mind, one after the other, faster and faster, until they became a meaningless jangle of noise. Kaine screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed off the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward, black ichor pouring from its mouth and dissolving into smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as they crept towards its prey. Kaine's body slowly rose as if controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles, her head lolled dangerously to the side, yet somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with a deep red fire. The creature, so confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step backwards, trying to discern if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. Kaine seized the moment. Laughing like a madwoman, she leapt into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook Kaine off like a fly, sending her crashing to the earth once more. Her chest rose and fell slowly, as if a great weight were resting on it. Moist sounds of pain echoed through her mind. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Hey, Prime Sonic. Yeah, that puts you in a weird position. Granted, I've been reading for pretty much the last hour, so I don't blame you if you'd rather watch G-Wolf. It's probably going to be reading for a little bit more. Is that blood? I think it is. I think I'm bleeding to death. No, I can't die. Grandma told me to live. Deep inside Kaine's mind, something finally broke. The sound, the pain, the smoke and flames, all of it faded away until all that remained was a single incantation repeated over and over again. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Kill it, kill it, kill it. Kill it now. As the spark that was Kaine slowly began to flicker and die, she felt her desire to kill and her desire to live blend into one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer and longer and longer. Oh, here we go. Woo!
The beast approaches.
It sure does.
I know.
Alright, this time we're going to teach this ugly-ass love dart who's boss, hopefully in record time. Why do I have a spear? Oh, no, I don't have a spear, it's a sword. Basically the same thing, don't worry about it. Alright, start breaking these tentacles.
How did it even survive these past 5 years?
I'm not gonna let this happen again. It dies today.
It's mostly just me dancing around. It's not...
It's not the blade, but the skill of the user. Strike it down.
I think we're doing okay. Is that good? Oh shoot, I need to get to the head. No, let me... There we go. Couldn't get to the head. Incorrect, our blade is ridiculous. That's not lighter. It's about as heavy as it gets. There you go. Now pepper grind it. You know what Daddy likes. Am I gonna raid G later? If he's still streaming when I'm done, absolutely. Yeah, I would love to raid G. See, you choke too hard. That's gonna affect sensitivity later down the road. It's not good. You streaming right now? You've got both streams up at the same time? Yeah. I'm just saying, if he's still going when I'm done, I will absolutely raid him. For sure. Oh, God. For sure. Well, I didn't realize it was going to be that kind of stream today, but when in Rome, gently. You're a trooper, Jazz. You can't choose. It's like asking me if I love my mom or my dad more. Wow. I feel like you love your dad a little bit more since you're using a G emote. For the record, it's your dad. Yeah, see? I'm right. Gently, weakly, softly, the shade, sure that its tormentor was dead, turned and stomped off toward the horizon, stopping along the way to bellow one final roar. Couldn't kill it. Shamed beyond imagining, Kaine tried to turn her head to the side, but only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home and noticed a ragged stump of arm resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's mine, she thought with a mad giggle. This is gonna make clapping a real bitch. Ha! Cried a sudden voice from the depths of her mind. Finally gonna die, are you? Well, you had it coming. Go to hell, Demo, she thought at the unseen assailant. Go to hell before I pluck out your eyes and feed them to a dog. The voice of her childhood terror evaporated into smoke, only to be replaced by another, more recent voice. Hold still, said the apothecary, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you. That way you can live forever. No, stop. Don't want to live forever. Want to die right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, if that's what you want. The spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, then produced a piece of paper and sketched quickly. After a few seconds, he turned the page to Kaine and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It was a picture of her grandmother, real as life. Kaine opened her mouth to thank the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, dozens of multi-legged insects began to swarm across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. Stop! No! Don't hurt that picture! Kaine reached out with her remaining arm and waved futilely at the air. To her surprise, the insects fell off the picture and to the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, Kaine turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother as she truly was, a smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. The apothecary smiled, then broke into a jolly dance. See that? He cried as he danced his jig. It's perfect now. She looks just like you. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. I look like that? Oh, God. Oh, God, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Drowning in despair, Kaine laid her head back in the mud and smoke of her ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just before she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began whispering in her ear. Ain't you got a wish, sunshine? The voice was vulgar and fierce at the same time. As if insanity had somehow found a way to take form, Kaine wanted to scream as the voice crawled under her skin, but her lungs refused to work. You know, a wish, like a prayer or something. Why don't you get on your knees and start praying to heaven? Please, invisible man in the sky, save me! Save me! Kaine finally resorted to shouting at the voice with her mind. I don't make wishes. They don't come true for me. I'm a curse. A freak. I should be left to die. The other voice boomed in her ears. Oh, God, you are the best! Kaine glanced down and saw a black, shiny substance oozing from her leg. She tried to brush it away, but her remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept around her feet and then began moving up towards the rest of her body. Is this death? Is this what it's like? You would think that, Sonic. You would think that. Yoko Taro is he's an enigma, that man. Is this what death is like, or is my mind just losing itself? She could feel the slime oozing upward, feel the hot searing pain it left in its wake. Whatever else might be happening, she was still alive, and this was real. Come on, said the voice. Let it go. Kaine tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on the pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. Don't ignore me, sunshine. You're ready to give up, ready to die, so why not let me have it? Have what? Your body. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. I want to stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind. The voice paused, as if licking its lips. When it resumed, it was filled with a mad, unabated joy. And I want to take your hands and use them to choke the goddamn life out of people. I want to tear out their throats and bathe in the blood, just like before. In response, Kaine shifted her head and vomited. The warmth of it crept down her front and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. You did say that, Sonic. I'm getting my practice in. This is it. Are you a shade? Yeah, maybe. What of it? The slime reached her face, crept up past her nose, and slowly oozed into the socket of her missing eye. The moment it touched her brain, Kaine was struck by the most powerful sensation she'd ever felt in her life. It was ecstasy. She wanted to scream with delight, but all she could manage was a small, whispered moan. Feels good, don't it? Asked the voice with a chuckle. Yeah, what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now give me that body. Come on. Give me the body, and I'll give you more of this feeling. It's a fair trade. A black lump began to protrude from Kaine's side. As she watched, it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. I can see better, she thought. My eye must be growing back too. The slime reached up to envelop the rest of her face, but she managed to brush it away. Stop, she whispered, marveling at how she had regained her voice. Stop. The black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request, then quickly shimmered down her body before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Ah, what the hell, sunshine, screamed the voice. We had a deal. I thought you wanted to die. Grandma said, I can't die yet. A brief image of her grandmother, bloodied and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw the shade that had killed her and heard its mocking laughter, then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. Her whole body was quaking with rage. When she opened her eyes again, they burned bright red. That thing took my grandmother. I have to kill it before I die. Kaine glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern. The pattern of the shades burn itself into her left arm. Well, I'll be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, sunshine. I think you and me are going to be good friends now. Kaine stared intently at her arm. The more emotional she felt, the more the letters seemed ready to puncture her skin and begin infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop. Gotta stop. Holding her left arm in her right, Kaine took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. Hate's my favorite dish, and I'm hungry. Let it go. Feel the anger. Burn with the fire of revenge. Thirst for blood. Then go out there and shut up. Shut up and get the hell out of my body. Your body? Oh, that's rich, sunshine. Real rich. Look, why don't you just up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those buddies of yours in the area would love to see you dead. Kaine grabbed a nearby shard of glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, her darkened left arm grabbed her right wrist, crushing it. Kaine screamed and dropped the shard as the sound of bone crunching on bone filled the air. Stupid idiot girl. You're possessed now, Sunshine, and there ain't no going back. The voice laughed again, a loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Whispered Kaine. Yeah, possessed. You and me? We got what you might call a timeshare arrangement. Remember how folks used to think you were a freak? Well, wait until they get a load of you now. Kaine looked up, tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow, darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world? So, listen, purred the voice. I know this whole possession thing seems a bit sudden, but it ain't all bad. There's plenty in it for you, too. I'm a very powerful creature, Sunshine, and now that power belongs to you. You got enemies? People you want to kill? I can make it happen. That little fat kid who kept picking on you? That big old shade that squashed your granny? We'll wrap them up in their own assholes. No more abuse for you, Sunshine. No more pain. Wait, said Kaine. You're a shade. Why would you help me kill another shade? What, you think I'm some kind of racist? Some killing snob? I don't give a good goddamn who you murder, honey pants. I just want to drink from the well. Kaine considered this as she struggled to her feet, the power of the shade coursing through her. The smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind, and she enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze felt on her new left arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again. So, how about it? You and me. We could have some good times together. Look, I'll even take care of the bloody part if you don't want. Fuck off, asshole, muttered Kaine. I'll handle the killing. Screamed the voice. Look at you go. Oh, Sunshine. We're gonna have so much fun. So listen, my name's Tyrion, and if you ever need me, I'll just be hanging out in this piece of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour, and I like rotten and sour. Kaine found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I think this can work. I'm going to find that shade, and I'm going to strangle it with its own guts. And when I'm done, I'm going to do the same to you, Tyrion. Count on it. Ha! Laughed Tyrion. I've shit bigger than you, so good luck with that. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Right now, you and me are sharing this body, but if you ever run out of hate, if you ever, go soft, then I'm going to take over everything. So keep on killing, Sunshine, and watch your back. The voice grew fainter and gradually faded away, fading to somewhere deep inside Kaine herself. Kaine waited until she was sure the voice was gone, then waved her new left arm around a few times. It feels perfectly normal, she thought. It feels like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at the new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. She didn't want it to feel normal. That would mean the creature inside her had already won. I am not a shade. I am Kaine. Repeating this mantra in her mind, she slowly began digging through the rubble of her house, being careful to ignore a certain red-stained spot in the corner. Hey Dee, welcome to the stream. We're reading Kaine's backstory, and have been since the beginning of the stream. But hi, hope your vacation's going well. Thanks for dropping in. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for. It was the wreath of lunar tears. I'm glad you guys are doing all right. That's good news. I'll take it. Though it had been through hell and back, the garland's petals were as bright as ever. Kaine started to place it in her hair, then slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm so sorry. Oh, hey, wow. Yeah, I didn't notice that Perfect 10 did a sub. So thank you for the sub, Perfect 10. You probably have the stream muted at this point. But welcome back to the PP Poo Poo Squad. It's a working title. I'll change it later. In the meantime, I kept your seat warm by just like rubbing sandpaper all over it. So not only will it be warm, it'll be smooth. You're welcome. Thank you for the sub. You got the, you spent some channel points and got yourself the Yikes Forever emote? Well, use it well. Hey, Lead Sword. Welcome to the stream, my guy. We're just, we're reading through Kaine's backstory. Pictures uploaded later. You're coming home tomorrow? Well, awesome. You prefer the PP Poo Poo Squad? Well, count your days because they're numbered, my friend. I'll be changing it any day now. Pale Sandpaper Keeper Struggle Buzz West Voyager West. There you go. It wouldn't be a stream without it. Thank you so much. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, a freak. And this time, I don't think there's any going back. Holding the flowers to her heart, Kaine fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually lightened to dawn, and the people of the area rose to their daily lives, she remained in that position, as if tears could somehow wash away the horror that now infected her world.
Alive. Stay alive. Stay alive. Grandma.
Later, D.
Kaine, you gotta live. You gotta come back to us.
Hey, Nikki, you just missed all of Kaine's backstory. like all of it. I've just been reading for the last hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, hey.
It was pretty good. It was a pretty good read. Welcome to the stream, though.
Emil.
Should they explain why she's wearing that?
Me.
Yeah, I'll recap after.
You still recognize me? Of course. I knew you right away.
All good, Nikki.
Thank you, Kaine.
I hope the work meeting was productive.
Welcome back, Kaine.
Wow, you grew up. So, how long has it been?
5 years.
Hey, Paradox Zero. Welcome to the stream.
That's a long time.
You're a documentation master and my team is motivated to help. Pretty damn nice. It sounds pretty damn nice. I can't believe they stole music from the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV, which now has a free trial that goes up to level 60 and lets you play all the way through the first expansion, Heavensward. I know, NieR is absolutely atrocious for its copyright infringement. Someone should do something.
Any luck with Yona?
We are still no closer to finding her. We need a way to locate the Shadow Lord.
By the way, this is for you.
Is that a lunar tear?
It's not as good as your grandmother's, but I tried.
No, it's great. Thank you.
See, and now we know why she appreciates it so much. How heartwarming. How delightful. Even copied the handover animations.
Waking from a long, petrified sleep.
Jesus.
Emil's unflagging kindness. Our
Sorry,
reunion
Nikki.
was a happy one, and we let it wash over us like rain.
I'll do a recap. Just a
That
quick one.
is, until Devila and Popola had to go and ruin it all.
They sure did. Boy, oh boy, did they ever.
Are you kidding me? You can't be serious.
Please try to understand. People are tired and scared, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to bear the brunt of that.
This is crap, and you know it.
It's okay. We can sleep outside.
No one's sleeping outside. You and Kaine saved this village, and now they want to run you out?
People are afraid of us. And really, I understand. I mean, look at me. As long as you're still with us, I can deal with it. Right, Kaine? I'm used to sleeping outside.
But
We'll see you later.
Sorry about this.
Ah, humbug. Just 17 pairs of pooped pants.
What is the matter?
Kaine always sleeps outside. I never thought about that until just now. Never even occurred to me. Damn it.
We should turn in.
Well, I mean, that's empathy. So it's good. You're having some of
I
that.
didn't get much sleep that night. For the first time in my life, I hated Devila. For the first time in my life, I doubted Popola. But those feelings are pointless in the end. They said and did what they did for the sake of the village. To protect it from the horror of the Shades.
Such a happy story. You got it. This is nothing but sunshine and laser beams.
Really, how can I blame Devila and Popola? In the end, I'm just as bad.
No, they're worse. Devil and Popola are categorically worse.
Because I never once stopped to think about Kaine and Emil's situation myself.
Well, hot potato. As soon as people stop talking, I'll start. I'll give it a go. RPGs. I tell you. I always got something to say. Always telling you stuff.
I should apologize to Kaine and Emil.
This girl isn't even a robot? Which one?
But
Kaine?
what good would that even do?
I got a fire going, Kaine.
Wait, is that...
It's true, she's not a robot.
Fires are weird, aren't they? I feel like I could stare at the flames forever.
Aw, I was right. Kaine and Emil have the sweet little tender
I'm so happy
moments.
to get to talk to you again, Kaine.
Yeah, me too.
I tried everything I could think of to save you, you know. I polished you with a special cloth. I poured warm water over you.
I'll explain it in a second, Sonic, I promise.
Wait, you poured water on me?
Just to get clarification here, this is a visual novel, right? There's no way they made you read that much in there. No, it's a game. It's not a visual novel.
Yeah, but it didn't really do much except make you all shiny.
Yoko Taro likes to blend genres in his games. So you'll play what you think is an RPG, and then it becomes a rhythm game, and then it becomes a shoot 'em up, and then it becomes a visual novel, and then it becomes like it's just he's someone needs to stop him, and no one will.
Hey, Emil. Thanks for saving me.
Yeah, it's wild.
I guess you noticed how I look different now.
I fully encourage you to look up the final boss of either Drakengard or Drakengard 3 to see some of the most elastic bullshit that has ever graced the gaming industry. Those games are straight up like action RPGs, and then the final boss is like a rhythm game where if you miss one note, you instantly die and have to start over again. And that's the only way to beat the game. Twice he's done that. 2 times. And he pulls some shit in this game too. We're going to see it. I'll show you what he does. It's something.
I'm sorry, Emil. I'm sorry for all of it.
No, Emil, I completely missed your disturbingly spherical head shape. What are you talking about? Yeah, Taro he's a lunatic. There's no oversight.
Well, I mean, this new form isn't all bad, you know? At least I can look at you when we talk, right?
Sorry to keep interrupting the conversation here, but I just want to point something else out now. His games are starting to become successful. Yoko Taro and his development team have been living in a closet in the 7th basement of the Square Enix headquarters for the last 15 years, just churning out little games that no one's heard of and no one played. You know, they're lucky if they sell 10,000 copies in a decade. And then, Platinum Games helps them make NieR Automata. That game blows up, huge popular. There are people who don't even know what it is who are cosplaying as 2B. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Runaway hit. And so, they remaster the first NieR thinking, okay, well, this might be something of interest. It's done pretty well, too. The genius and the madness of Yoko Taro has been hidden away. And now he's famous. Now he's popular. Now he's successful. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse from here. People are going to have to start saying yes to him. It's terrifying.
Hey, so why don't you tell me something about yourself?
I'm not very interesting. Sorry.
Yeah, sexy robots brought to life by Platinum Games, who are masters of sexy action games. Absolutely.
Come on. I just want to know you better. Please?
Fine. This all happened when I was a kid. Before the whole shade possession thing.
I'm so glad we get to see one of these. I want some Kaine and Emil time.
My body is different. And when the villagers found out about it, they started treating me like a freak.
Okay, last interruption. I'm going to do the recap now. So once you beat the game, you get the first ending, and then the game puts you back at the halfway point where they bring Kaine back to life from being frozen in carbonite. Every time you beat the game, new stuff happens in the story, and then once you beat it, you get brought back to the half point of the game. There is a final ending, and that is where Yoko Taro pulls his shit, but that is essentially what is going on right now. So we've seen the first playthrough of the game. Now we're going to see a second playthrough, or half playthrough, that adds a ton of context and story significance to all the stuff that we've been doing in the previous 9 streams that seemed like they had no rhyme or reason. That's point number 1. Point number 2, something that we learned in the last stream, some of us at least, is that shades, these monsters, are actually humans. They're the gestalts, the souls of the original humans that were meant to rejoin their new bodies once the disease that plagued humanity was gone. Unfortunately, those new bodies grew souls and consciousnesses of their own, thus making them uninhabitable by shades, and by gestalts, and as the gestalts, the souls of the original humans, started to degrade and fester, they turned into shades. Kaine has been possessed by a shade named Tyrion, and Kaine, every human that you see in this game, is a replicant. None of them are humanity is gone, essentially. The human race has died out. Replicants are a new thing. And the shades want their bodies back, so they're hostile, a lot of them. Some shades are so angry about it, they turn into giant shades and are, like, absolutely an issue, like a big issue. Kaine's gestalt, her original human form, had a female body with female reproductive organs, all that jazz. Kaine's replicant, however, due to a glitch in their system, has the Bepis. She's got a penis. And as a result, her village treated her like a freak, shunned her from the village, threw rocks at her, bullied her, made attempts on her life, the whole thing. It was really bad, just for being intersex. It's horrible. Her grandmother raised her and taught her that she's beautiful and all that stuff, but her grandmother had the mouth of a trucker, of a sailor, of a trucking sailor who swears at babies. That was her grandmother. And so Kaine has learned a bit of a rough way of being from that. She's also been through a lot of shit, like watching the only person she loves ground to paste by a giant shade. The giant shade we fought in part 1, that big lizard thing with the booba beard, that's Hook. That was the shade, so she got her revenge. And yes, as Nikki pointed out, that is why she runs around in lingerie, because she is trying to express her ideal of a woman, because that is what she is, that is who she is, and so she just like everything about her, she takes it to the extreme. So there you have it. That's Kaine in a nutshell. She's taught herself not to let anyone in, both because she doesn't trust anybody and because Tyrion told her that if she ever goes soft, he's going to take over her body and kill everybody that she knows. So it's a situation. It's a bit of a situation. She met NieR, kept him at a distance, never really became friends with him, but Emil could melt the frostiest heart. She loves Emil. She does. And Emil loves her too. So he's a sweet little dumpling. You want to punch Vice more now? Yeah, Vice clearly doesn't know everything. He likes to think he does just because he's a book. And with that, we can return to the game in progress.
But one person, my grandmother, accepted me just as I was. No matter how bad things got, She gave me the strength to keep going.
I should probably stop doing that. It's fine.
She's really special to you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hey! That gives me an idea. Since we cured your petrification, we should start looking for a way to cure your possession in my body. I know we can do it if we all work together.
How the fuck is this an action RPG? We're getting to it. Just wait.
Heck, it'll probably be super easy.
The game's coming.
Let me guess. More warm water?
Okay, can we just forget I told you about that?
We'll get to play very soon. And then we're going to go fishing. No, I'm just joking. I'm not going to do it. I was originally going to do it, but I didn't expect to read for an hour and 20 minutes, so change of plans. We're going to make some story progress. There you go. Okay. Plus fishing simulator, yeah. Also on top of that, main character NieR, his gestalt is an angry shade that is called the Shadow Lord, and he has kidnapped NieR's younger sister Yona. Because his younger sister Yona is also the Shadow Lord's younger sister Yona, just, her replicant. And he's trying to get her gestalt into her proper body because he, more than anything, wants to save his sister. Just like this NieR wants to save his sister.
And yet your red eyes tell a different tale. Don't be so hard on yourself, lad.
How dare kidnap my Yona?
I need to go see Devila and Popola.
Very well.
Always with the devil and Popola. Well, whatever. We got 900 gold. And we got a gold moonflower seed. And check this out,
What
Mark.
might that be?
It's Mom's diary.
I have not heard you speak much about your mother.
Oh no, it's more reading, isn't it?
She got the Black Scrawl and died when I was little.
By the way, the Black Scrawl is it is a degeneration of the replicant body because they're not supposed to be without their original soul, and their souls aren't supposed to be without their original body. Both of them really have a hard time not doing it. It's been like 1400 years, so some people catch the Black Scrawl as a result.
My apologies for bringing it up.
It's all right. I can barely remember her face anymore. This is the only thing I have left of her. Reading it helps remind me of when we were still a family.
I see.
But the final entries get a little strange.
In what way?
What way?
Well, here.
Is humanity alive in any Yoko Taro game? Yeah, Drakengard. Actually, it's because of Drakengard that humanity died in NieR. That's real. That's an actual true statement. The final ending of Drakengard causes a man, his dragon, and the final boss to crash through a dimensional wall into modern-day Tokyo, Japan, and the introduction of magic and dragons into our very real world causes some fuck, putting it bluntly.
Take a look.
Oh good, more reading. We want to save the game first. We don't want to have to redo any of that reading we just did before our reading.
Say there. Can you not hear me?
I think this might be new content. I don't remember this. Uh-oh. Oh! Oh!
Why
Oh,
are
I know
you
what this
standing
is.
about like a slack-jawed ninny?
Yo, check this out, guys.
Felt like I was dreaming or something.
Hey.
Sleeping on one's feet is quite the talent indeed.
Hey.
Come now. There's the door.
This is very
Right.
cool.
Let's go.
Okay. So, I got to explain this now, too. Shit, I swear. We're going to start fighting stuff. So now I play Drakengard? No. So this, okay. Wow, there's so much about this game. Tuck in, guys. So, in Japan, the original NieR, released in 2010, came out on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. The PlayStation 3 version of NieR was called NieR Replicant. It involved the young brother and his young sister, having to have this adventure. The Xbox 360 version of NieR was called NieR Gestalt, where you play as a father trying to save his daughter, Yona, from the Shadow Lord. The story's more or less the same, no matter what. The relationship between NieR and Kaine is obviously kind of different, depending on whether you're father or brother. But the only version that we got in North America was NieR Gestalt, and it was just called NieR, and that was on both PlayStation and Xbox Papa NieR, as the community has called him, was the only playable protagonist. However, there was a DLC pack that was released that lets you go through a bunch of fight rooms, like kill rooms essentially, playing as the NieR that you didn't get to play, the other one. So you get to play as young NieR through the DLC. And because this is NieR Replicant, where we play as the brother, now we're doing this DLC segment as Papa NieR. There you go. Let the games begin. And this place is actually a fantastic way of getting a lot of rarer materials. I might not be strong enough. I might get my booty clapped, but let's give it a go. I don't actually remember how long it was either. And maybe I should have waited until I had my party with me. Oh well. This is the world of recycled vessel, created to avoid the destruction of all. Well, no, his mom's diary had kill rooms in it. I mean, do you not? Fuck, okay, whatever. I'll just... Projectiles, I know how to play game. There you go. Well, everything seems to be kind of dying quickly. You wish you could write something this weird? Do you? Is that a wish? Oh no, my computer. This always happens to me. Yeah, so the kill rooms are basically just going to be like recycled assets. So it's going to be places we've already been, more or less. There's not really going to be a lot in terms of like content here. This is basically just a means to farm for rare items while also getting to play as the other NieR. A book that takes you to kill rooms? Well, I mean, in Metal Gear Solid, you, what did you, like, autoerotically asphyxiate yourself in a jail cell to play a hack-and-slash game that never released? Do I remember that right? That was how you did it, right? This is fine, though. I hope your necks are okay. We've gone pretty quickly from just nothing but reading, and now it's going to be nothing but fighting stuff. And that's more than likely going to be the stream, I think. I don't think we're going to have time for much else. But we can enjoy the remake, or the remix of the soundtrack here. Wait, what spell do I have equipped? Alright, I got the lance. Not great on stairs. I'm gonna be real. Not the best one to use on stairs, maybe. Let me switch to the fist. There we go. Oh, punchy. Go ahead, try me. I dare you. Alright, they're doing it. Stop it. I pressed the wrong button. There we go. Try to do some counterattacks. Oh, we got a boss? Is that a boss I smell down? Oh, yep. Hello. That's one way to get me into the arena. That's one way to die in 2 hits. I'm on the Yoko Taro wiki, and he has stage plays section. Yeah, no, he does. Actually, NieR Automata, the story of the Yorha androids, was actually a stage play at first. He turned it into a video game. Was it 3 hits? My bad. Thank you. Thank you for knowing numbers. At least one of us does. Yeah. Yoko Taro he's something. The Black Scrawl, a lost destiny, a white book, a false truth. Adapt your own creations cross-genre. I feel, okay, let me know if this makes me a hypocrite, because I feel like it might. I'm annoyed with Kingdom Hearts for having, and I realize that now there's like a complete edition that you can play all on one place. Great. But I'm annoyed with Kingdom Hearts for being like PS2 game, Game Boy game, PS2 game, DS game, PSP game, PS3 game. Like, it's spread across so many different, like, you need to own every system to play all the Kingdom Hearts games. I found that really annoying. But with franchises like Dot Hack that span mangas, movies, anime, video games, visual novels, drama CDs, I'm totally fine with that, and I think it's cool. I think it's a cool move to like diversify the way that people engage with the story. Does that make me a hypocrite, or are those different things? That's the question I pose to you. Never played Dot Hack? You're honestly not missing much. Like, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want like a really cool but very somber story, Dot Hack is it. But if you're playing the games for gameplay's sake, woof. Was Dot Hack on the Dreamcast? I don't remember that. Well, they re-released all the Kingdom Hearts games, and yeah, that's what I said. I started by saying that, but like I realized they have a all-in-one collection now. Your Twitch is having a fit. You have a 0-month sub-streak, a 2-month sub-streak, and a 3-month sub-streak. Pick one. Soldiers of Salt, calling forth white death. They are legion, those who plunge the world into darkness. Now it's actually very cryptically talking about how the world came to be this way. Yeah, the Dot Hack games were for PS2. Which brings me to another idea, or at least another point. People were kind of complaining about the Final Fantasy VII Remake being split into parts. And I'm just like, y'all definitely never played Dot Hack then. The original Dot Hack quadrilogy was essentially one story, one game, because it's not like the game's improved graphically or performance-wise, into 4 games. And they released over the course of, I think, like 2 years. And they all released at full price. Soldiers of Salt, that's just you playing video games. Let the salt flow. Alright, I'm gonna stop like dashing around and we do some like new combos and stuff. See, but then when I try to do new combos, they all disappear on me. Stop teleporting away. It's hard enough to make friends out here. It is really cool that they included this. I was actually wondering whether or not they were going to. And upon beating this DLC, we get new costumes for NieR, Kaine, and Emil. If I'm not mistaken, it's a set of samurai outfits and a set of kabuki outfits. You're gonna have to take off for dinner? Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for having the patience and the temerity, the breath control to hang out with me. Oh, this isn't working. I did say it, you're right. I don't think anyone redeemed it, so the time has come. You know about NieR more than you wanted to? Yeah, that happens. That's a common side effect. I mean, I could be playing Drakengard, which... let me just say this. The protagonists of Drakengard are a mute sociopath, a blind pedophile, a barren cannibal, and a kid who can't grow older. Those are the protagonists of Drakengard. That's what that is. Mm-hmm. Now the reason why they all have these, I can keep Drakengard, yeah, for sure. The reason why they have all those problems is because they've made a pact with a magical creature. So the main character makes a pact with a dragon and loses his ability to speak. The pedophile makes a pact with a fairy and loses the ability to see. And she constantly like chides him and makes fun of him and insults him for being one of those. The cannibal, who prefers eating children, by the way, made a pact with a salamander and Undine at the cost of her ability to conceive, and the little boy made a pact with a golem, and the cost of that pact was his time. We got so much. All right, hang on. Let me do the drink first. Dragon's corpse brought death to the world, delivering unto it the power of magic. So like I said, it's telling the story of how things got to this point, which makes it worthwhile. How did the little boy's things manifest? What do you mean with the blind character? Why is he like that? Let's see, pants check. I'm wearing pants. I'm wearing them, but not wearing socks. So be that what it is. And what else do we have here? Oh, we had a Sega. Thank you for redeeming Sega. Thank you for redeeming the pants check. And thank you for redeeming Control. Oh, the Drakengard boy who bartered time? So he's the brother of the antagonist, who's a little girl named Mana, who's been possessed by this weird alien thing called the Watchers, and he's trying to save her. You know, and oftentimes when people make pacts with beasts, it's because they're put in a position where their backs are against the wall, and they do just about anything to save whatever thing it is they're trying to do. Not all the time. I mean, with the... in the case of Ariadne, I think is her name. No, it's not Ariadne. What is her name? It's like Arak or something. She just likes killing. She wants to kill as many people and eat as many children as she can. And so she took the pact power to help her do that. How does trading time affect him? Oh, sorry. Yeah. He doesn't grow old. He's perpetually a child. He doesn't get to grow up. I'm not sure if that makes him immortal. I think it just means he lives out his lifespan in the body of a child, which makes the perfect party member to complement a woman who likes eating children and a guy who likes... So, it's an adventure. Probably not ever going to see a digital release of it. The black sickness stains the future. They journey to return to soulless vessels. So that's talking about the Gestalts trying to get back into their bodies, but the bodies have been taken over by replicants. Also, welcome to the stream, Papa Beatloaf. Happy to have you here. You know, maybe I want to switch to the spear for a little bit. Let's get this Dragoon Lance in here. Sounds like an awful game for you. You'll stay in your hermit corner on that one. Yeah, I don't blame you. The gameplay isn't anything special either. It's like, I really like the story, but the gameplay is essentially like really bad Dynasty Warriors, like really slow, clunky Dynasty Warriors, and segments where you're on Dragonback firing like fireballs on like a shoot 'em up section, kind of like Panzer Dragoon. If you've ever heard of Panzer Dragoon, it's a lot like that. You think you've decided to finally play Yakuza Like a Dragon off stream? Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoy it. The spear's not working. The spear's doing nothing for me. You can look up the story on Wikipedia? Yeah, absolutely. It's not like... Okay, I may have overstated the importance of playing the other games. There's like fan service and story aspects that will make more sense or be more satisfying knowing it, but you don't like need to know it for anything to make sense. So you're fine. You'll be okay. I'm just one of those I'm one of those wieners who really wants people to experience the fulth of the story the way the devs intended. Because I feel like anything less is fuck. and you can take that to the bank. I mean it. Let's see. Heal ourselves a little bit. Like a Dragon was your first Yakuza game. Love the story, but yeah, there's one part in the game that's weird unless you know a character from a previous Yakuza game. There's a few parts like that. I'm having trouble, guys. I'm having issues. I'm having problems with my problems. You're the weirdo who plays games with cheats, which I have been actually bitched at by devs for. Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever works. As long as you're playing the game and enjoying it. I'm not gonna fall for this a fourth time. Let me just say that. Let me just tell you that one. This time, I'm gonna jump right on this guy's head. The story's so compelling, it really hooks you. It does. Oh my god, I'm not gonna fall for this a sixth time. Hold on, what do my jump buttons do? Okay, they're all helm splitters. Is there like a... Move faster, Pokey? There we go, that's the one I want. Okay, now we got this time. Yeah, joke's on you, stupid. I know how to switch weapons. Like just recently, Jeffrey and I were watching Wooly Versus's videos on Guilty Gear, because despite being a fighting game, Guilty Gear has a rich and dummy thick story that I actually think is pretty good. It's all over the place, but it's pretty good. And so we were watching all these videos so that he could know like what has happened in the last 20 plus years of Guilty Gear history. so that when he plays the Guilty Gear Strive story mode, and by plays I mean watches, because it's essentially a 4-hour movie, he'll know what's going on. And so we watched 5 of them. There's 7 of them in total. And this morning, he's like, yeah, I just started the prologue of Strive. And I'm just like, why? We were literally 2 videos away from it making sense. Why would you start now? The fuck is wrong with you? So, like, there's something wrong in here. Okay, so wait, are the Gestalts in the Replicants or the Shades, or that part confuses me? Sure, okay, so, some 1,500 years ago, a man and his dragon and a monstrosity crashed into Japan. The introduction of that monstrosity caused a type of material called maso to enter the atmosphere. Very bad for humans. People started turning into pillars of salt or turning into monsters. Scientists were like, fuck. They took the dragon, did experiments to come up with their own means of using magic so that they can like try and fight this thing. And ultimately, what they concluded on doing was ripping the souls out of human bodies and keeping them like in cryo whatever until the disease was over. And they tasked androids with cultivating replacement bodies called replicants for the souls, the gestalts, to eventually reunite with, and then humanity can repopulate the earth and everything will be Gucci. Unfortunately, the replicants developed their own consciousnesses. They grew souls in the 1,500 some odd years between the fall and now. And the gestalts, now unable to return to their replicants, started degrading and turning into shades, essentially. Gestalts cannot survive very long without their replicants. How they got out, how they aren't still in cryo, I'm not 100% on that one. But that's essentially what happened. And replicants without their gestalt have complications as well, and that manifests as a disease called the Black Scrawl. And we unlocked a Kabuki outfit. And 1,000 experience points. And some herbs. Boy, the RPG is thick. Thick like musk. Was that it? Am I done? Oh, hey, there's another door. Wait a minute. But which one? How do I know which one's the right one? Oh, that's why. It's already been completed. Yeah, thick with 5 C's. You know what it is. Alright, so we're going to do all the kill rooms. Why the hell not? There's you know... we're going to do them all. We're going to unlock all the costumes. And, you know, I'll field any questions about the game's lore that I'm able to. The apocalypse divided the world in 2. One that knows not day, and one which has never seen the night. Ow! Well, I know the night. The night just smacked me in the butt slam, which is an organ that I don't talk about too often. Oh! Oh, we're doing Baron Temple rules now. I can't use my sword. That would have been good to know. I guess we'll just give him the business. Let's charge up a... Oop. The following actions are... Oh, okay, so going forward. No evading either. Alright. Did I see your comment about the bullshit in Kiwami 2? Because it was not important at all, but my rage is real. Oh, sure. Give me 1 second. How are none of my... I can't see my health. I can't... I'm just... I'm getting Mike Tyson here. Get the fuck out of here. Stop it. Get some help. Okay. 1 second, Nikki. Alright. Play Yakuza 0. Kiwami is also pretty good, but I admit I lost interest in Kiwami 2. I got rage level angry at Kiwami 2's ragdoll bullshit mechanic, bullshittery. Gestalts are shades before they start degrading into shades. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the ragdolling didn't bother me that much, but I'll go ahead and let you know that it is using the same engine as Yakuza 6. So if you didn't like it in 2, you won't like it in 6 either. Assuming you even play that far. Who knows? I didn't mind the ragdolling because I think it allowed me to like do some combo stuff that I normally wouldn't be able to do in the very strict. Right, black and white, 13 pacts. The vessels form waver as they cross time and space. Alright, cool. I don't want to miss these reads. Flipping balls all the time. The ragdoll messed up how I was doing combos in the previous game, so it made me angry. Yeah, that's understandable. In my opinion, and it's through no fault of Yakuza's, Yakuza 3 has the worst fighting engine, just because it is, at this point, the oldest game in the series. Humble Bundle 3, Yakuza 3, I mean. Yeah. I mean, there's probably like a smarter way to fight this, but I'm just gonna brute force my way through it. I'm gonna let the balls touch every time. Humble Bundle through Yakuza 3 and a friend who threw it at me. Yeah, where am I? Oh, this is not the right room. I think I have access to the full series through Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, they're all up there now. Yeah, Yakuza 3 is the oldest, and when it originally came out, it had almost all of its extra content gutted, including like the Hostess Club stuff, because they felt Americans wouldn't really understand. There's even parts of Japanese culture that still thinks hostess clubs are essentially brothels. So, you know, they didn't want that in their games. So the remastered version of Yakuza 3 has all that stuff added back, but it still has its very dated combat system. You may throw it at another friend. It was remastered. Yeah. The remaster, like I just said, is better, but it's still technically the oldest of all the games at this point. No map, huh? You're just this is what you're gonna do to me? I get this? This is my reward for my time? I get lost in a straight line, and you're gonna make me do this. Unbelievable. This room is evil. We've established how Yoko rewards investment. Dude, oh man, you don't even know the half of it. You really don't. Stop playing Kiwami 2 once you fully beat the Cabaret Club, so if no one wants my Yakuza 3 copy, I may just play it for that. Alright, yeah. The collection also goes on like hyper sale all the time in various degrees. Was I in here already? Oh, here we go. Ah, progress. Dialogue means progress. Let's see. Yeah, get this. So in order for me to get the final ending of the game, I have to fully upgrade every weapon in the game. Which not only means I need the money to do so, I also need the materials. And many of the materials are incredibly hard to come by, and that is the only way to get the final ending. Because Yoko Taro hates people. I don't know who hurt him. So yeah, we're gonna do that. And as I mentioned on an earlier stream, every weapon has a story. Right? Do I look at them here? Beast Lord? Yeah. Every weapon has a story, and as you upgrade them, you unlock more and more of the story of that weapon. It provides, honestly, not really lore to the game itself, possibly lore to other games in the series, just short stories that maybe Yoko Taro had kicking around. But I intend to read all of them. Each time I fully upgrade a weapon, I will read its story. They're never very long, but it will add up, because I believe there's something like 34, 35 different weapons in the game. So I picked a whopper to stream. Boy, howdy. I make good decisions. Did I mention this is my favorite game? Have I told anyone? Have I said that in the last 30 minutes?
It seems we have been shut in.
I'm not falling for that again. I thought it meant progress, but all it meant is pain. Pain and suffering. Yeah, spin to win on those boxes. You know, you actually kind of love this game in a way, and in another way, thank you for playing it for me. You're welcome. I'm happy. I'm happy to do it. It's not like one of your 3 games you play being a big bitch is a bad thing. I don't understand. I don't get that one. I think my ability to read has been severely hampered. Oh, by the way, I think this might be as good a time as any to mention to you guys. I'm about to die. I'm going to be moving, actually, pretty soon. Like, towards the end of the month. And I'm essentially moving from a house into an apartment, so there's a lot of work that's going to have to be done, which means I'm not really going to be able to stream at a certain point until I'm fully moved in. We're all moving closer to the end of the month. You're adorable. But yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is after Sunday, all my streams are going to be Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart until I beat that game. Once I hit the credits of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I'm not going to stream anymore until I'm settled into my new place. Okay, that means I should probably heal myself again. There we go. So I'll make a proper announcement on the Discord and on the Twitter and what have you, but I just figured I'd mention it. Because yeah, I've got a lot of packing to do. There's a lot of stuff that you have to consider when downsizing that much. Oh, you having one out of your 3 games a week being one that'll be on the channel for a long time can be a good thing. Can it? I feel so dumb right now. Well, unfortunately, Final Fantasy VII Remake and NieR Replicant... Oh, I said I made bad choices. Okay, I gotcha. The Song of Man has been drowned out. In its place, the scream of something inhuman. Alright. Don't punch me. I'll be nicer to myself. I promise. Yeah, FF7 Remake and NieR will kind of be up in the air for a while. And when we get back, I'm going to do so much fishing. But yeah, I figured at least I should close out one of the 3 games. So yeah, there you go. Ratchet and Clank is fairly short, so it may not even be a full week of streams, but whenever that game is done, that's going to be the end point for a little bit. At least probably until about mid to late September, right? Oh man, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna get a bigger room out of it. The room I'm in right now is essentially a postage stamp with walls, and it'll be nicer to have, like, you know, space to put things. It's such an alien concept. Your room's a postage stamp with walls too? Yeah, it's gotten to a point, like, there is no space in my room for anything anymore, to the point where, like, I now just have, like, a stack of PlayStation 4 and 5 games just piling up on the floor. It's actually larger than that. I grabbed it from the middle. Like, there's no space to put anything anymore. It's horrible. That's another thing. Moving all my stuff, making sure that none of it gets damaged. It scares me. I'm scared of it. Now we just have to find a room. Yeah, well, like I said, the room that I'm getting in this apartment is going to be bigger. Quite a bit bigger, actually. I only have, like, a twin for a bed, because there's no fucking room in this room. So getting a queen would be nice. That would be kind of dope if I could do that. Alright, we got another weapon, Fool's Lament. And one thing that I've learned pretty early on with having a twin, you can't sleep 2 people on a twin. It makes dating tough. The sky falls with the dragon, the world ends this day. So yeah, that's talking about the final ending of Drakengard, precipitating the start of NieR with the dragon coming through the dimensional wall. You got a king a while back. You gotta get close. Yeah, no, I mean, like, you know, for intimacy and stuff, it's fine. But for the actual sleeping of it, oh boy, not great. Not a good mood. You got a king a while back? You can't go back? Yeah, I'll bet. I hung out with my friend a couple weeks ago for, like, the first time since the pandemic started. And I spent the night, and he has, like, he has a king-size bed in his guest room. So I felt like I was sleeping, like, on a room itself, like a big fluffy room, just made of linen. It was so nice. I didn't have to like tiger knee sleep, even though I did anyway, because I'm used to it. Sleeping with another person in bed is overrated either way. Did you know that in Sweden and possibly other countries, there are married couples who sleep in separate beds? There are married couples who sleep in separate rooms. And that's normal. And I love the sound of that so much. I really do. Your parents must be Swedish? Yeah, boy. Yeah, they got it right. Absolutely. Sleeping is not a team activity. It's really not. It's not a team sport. You love that movie you just did? I'm not even paying attention. Like the little nothing personnel kid thing that I do. I go behind them. Bam! I didn't really hurt him all that much. Oh, yeah, okay. I got you. You vaguely touch your husband. Sometimes he twitches in his sleep, so you end up fucking off to your corner anyway. Oh, dude, twitching's the worst. I get them all over. When I get them in my eyes, it's like I'll talk, man. I'll tell you where the documents are. Just please stop. I can't take it. You're a light sleeper and he snores like a truck. I'm told that I sleep like the dead. I don't move. I don't make any sound. You can barely tell I'm breathing. But I'm also a light sleeper. Being a shade seems kind of cool. Yeah, you just get to pick up shit off the ground and it becomes your armor, and you get to wander around attacking people with the body that you should have but don't. It sounds like a blast. It's really funny when you when NieR becomes a grown young man, all the shades have like pots and pans and like ceramic bowls and stuff for armor. Would I mind swapping in for your husband every once in a while? You're sure I'd barely notice you on your side given my current bed size? Yeah, probably. Sure, why the hell not? You could use a dead bed partner? A like-dead bed partner? Well, I think it's from a life of living on such a tiny bed that I just don't move, because it could be fatal otherwise. The puppet priest collects the accursed prayers and polishes the vessel. Gross. Oh, what's going on? What are we doing here? Should heal myself about it, though. Is this like a shoot-'em-up section? It seems like it. Not a dead bed partner. That gets complicated and unethical. And probably messy. You sleep with a tiger knee too, so yeah, I think this is a necessary thing. I don't know of any other way to sleep. When I was hospitalized in 2006, I had to sleep on this tiny little hospital bed, and I couldn't tiger knee. I had to learn how to sleep on my back. What kind of inhuman expectation? Who sleeps on their back? How? What? How does one even do that? Is that legal? I don't think it's street legal to do that. It's impossible to be. I had a feeling someone was going to say they sleep on their back. How do you do it? What's the matter with you? They usually get like, you wake up barely breathing on your back. That's a problem. You're like a turtle. You also tiger knee and your bed is an ocean. Your hips are just fucky. That's fair. I'm not going to judge the way you sleep. Unless you sleep on your back, obviously. Like, I mean, that's just fucking weird. No, it sucked, though. It was not fun for me. I did it. But it wasn't great. The thing is, too, I couldn't sleep on my stomach, which would be, like, second best, I guess. But I had all these, like, wires and tubes and stuff in me, and they had to keep checking my vitals and replacing my IVs, and they couldn't really do that if I was just, like, face down in my pillow, so... Bummer. I won't judge you how you sleep, except I will, you dum-dum. It's called a caveat, okay? Oh yeah, there's more guys over here. Also, I love the change of pace. Just a little shmup. A little, you know, a little first-person shooter action here. That's fine. You know, it's like Dead Space Extraction. Everyone's favorite Dead Space. There's a boar over there for some reason. That's fine. There we go. Just, not my problem anymore. Good. That Going Under game you played on Saturday? Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me things. I love its aesthetic. It's so pretty. I have it on the Switch. Those are all the facts I have about it, so now it's your turn. Who else? Who dares? There's a negative debuff that forces you into first person, and I hate it. Oh, that doesn't sound great. That's a big yikes. Because that's like a dungeon crawler, right? Like it kind of plays like a Zelda, or like a Binding of Isaac kind of situation, which is a Zelda. It's one of those deals with the devil things. Okay, so is it like procedurally generated then? Like it's roguelite? Or roguelike even? One of those? I really need to like get my head out of my own ass and stop playing and start playing roguelikes, because like I have this weird distaste for them that doesn't even really come out of anything. I've barely played any of them. You know? It's like not wanting to eat your vegetables, but having never eaten vegetables, you just assume you're not gonna like it. Conceptually I don't like the idea of losing my stuff. I gotta get over it though, because there's so many cool games that like have it now. And I want to experience them. So you refuse to play roguelikes for ages because you don't like slamming your face into a wall repeatedly and starting at square one? Yeah! But you've been getting it better about it? I'll have to too. Samurai outfit. You guys are gonna have to forgive me. We're gonna do the last one as well. We're doing all three of these, but you're gonna have to forgive me. So, in the original NieR, when you did this DLC, and the fact that Kaine was intersex was less obvious, I'm actually really proud of them for the way they handled it this time. The fact that Emil is gay, and the fact that Kaine is intersex, is more overt. It's not necessarily like thrown right in your face, but it is so vague in the original NieR that it may as well not even be. So I'm happy that the translation went a little bit better. Now, one of the outfits, I forget which one of the outfits, when Kaine wears it, this one might kill me. Is my soul at level 33? What level is my soul? Is it level 30? What do you think, guys? Should I tackle it? How am I doing on, never pressed the right button. I've only got one salve. Well, we'll save the last one for later. We'll save the last one for later. I don't want to, because I was already getting my cheeks clapped in the second one, so we'll come back to it. We did some DLC. Anyway, one of the costumes, when Kaine wears it, she has a prominent bulge in that outfit that is not apparent in her regular attire, which is kind of weird considering she barely has clothes. But I want to know if it's still like that. I'm curious.
Something wrong?
So we're going to look at Kaine's pee-pee if we can.
I feel as if I've just
I
awoken
apologize.
from a most unpleasant dream.
I know it's in bad taste.
I know what you mean. That happens to me whenever I read it.
It's for science. Okay, but obviously before we can do that, we have to have Kaine back on our team, so we're going to have to move forward with the story a little bit. Now, is the dude over there? The dude is not over there. The dude abides. Did Vice do something terrible already then, or are we just mad at him in general? Sometimes what you say paints a mental picture I don't think you mean to. Who knows? Who knows at the end of the day what I mean to do and what I don't. No, Vice hasn't done anything wrong except be a judgmental jackass, and as a result, Nikki doesn't like him very much. And I kind of agree. Oh, we got to talk to Devila first. Well, fuck me. My stars and garters. Vice is constantly calling Kaine a hussy and insulting her and being pedantic, and yeah, she wants to dip him in ketchup. But like plot-wise, he's relatively been a pretty good boy.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, awkward.
I kind of thought you'd never talk to us again.
I understand you're doing this for the village, and that you don't have a choice.
Pretty much, yeah. But look, why don't you go talk to Popola? I think she wanted to discuss the Shadow Lord with you.
By all means.
There next. Oh, and Devila?
Generally, I hate people, fiction or otherwise, who bag on people already clearly having issues. Yeah, and I think you're well within your right to do so.
Yeah?
I'm trying to have, I'm trying to keep an open mind with Vice, because I also know his shit, kind of, but it doesn't give him an excuse. I agree, he is being a dick.
Sorry about yesterday. I shouldn't have lost my temper like that.
And if anything, props to Kaine for handling it the way she does, because, yeah, she has been basically through everything. She's been through every bad thing a person can go through. And the worst she is just like, shut up, book.
You don't need to apologize. Anyone would be upset when their friends are hurting.
Oh, you're making him extra pulpy.
Let Emil and Kaine know that we're sorry, alright?
Pulp non-fiction. I'm so funny.
All right.
Hold my tears. I'm hilarious. Let's go talk to Popola then, I suppose. That's what 80% of this game is anyway, just talking to Devila and Popola in various combinations. Pulpy Magician. That should be a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And we've already done it before, but I'm going to do it again. I like talking to this guy.
I think I'm beginning to understand. Climate change wasn't the cause of our woes. It was only a symptom. The real trouble started when something terrible came down from the sky. It seems that this event turned the world into a metropolis of salt. I guess they're talking about how most of the city sunk into the ocean?
Nope. It did become a metropolis of salt, but that was because of the white chlorination syndrome, a side effect of coming into physical contact with beings made of maso, aka the magical substance from the other dimension. Turn people into pillars of salt or into monsters. The worst.
Popola?
Honestly, I strongly urge you guys to watch the final boss fight and cutscene of the original Drakengard. It's also called Dragon Dragoon. You want to check that out? Papa Beetlove's back, took his children out back and sprayed them with a hose, as you do. That sounds fun. I'm just gonna type it in the chat here. Yeah, in the interest of finding NieR interesting, I do urge people to watch at least the ending of Drakengard, ending E, just to see how all this started, because it's something.
Oh, hello.
It's pretty interesting.
Look, I want to apologize for
Stop.
In fact, I'm going to link it in the Discord. I'm going to link the video in the Discord after the stream.
Yeah, but neither did you.
You all better watch it. I'm not messing around.
You're just trying to protect the villagers, and I jumped down your throat for it.
It's very kind of you to say so. Regardless, please don't let it trouble you.
I mean, if I ever become a kid, I'll bite the water like a dog. You'll link Clemps? Yeah, you can do that if people want like a broader overview of everything. I think that's a pretty good idea. I'm just going to show the cutscene just, so that people can see it. Either is good. You guys have two options.
I believe there was something you wished to discuss with us.
Oh, right. Yes, about that. You know about the lost shrine, right?
Sure.
The temple where I was first discovered.
That's it. Well, it seems that the Shadow Lord's lair is connected to it somehow.
Oh. It was right
You
under
do it
our
as an adult?
pages
Alright.
the whole time.
Let's both do it.
But the bridge that leads there is unusable.
We can wargarble together.
So take a boat.
A boat?
What, are we Canadian now?
Yes. The canal's finally been repaired.
Did I make that joke before?
It took a lot longer than expected.
It's a loop!
What with the shades and all. I also asked them to provide
Yeah.
a boat at the path to the washroom's back entrance. The ferryman will let you use it free of charge. That should make it easier for you to move from town to town.
Thanks, Popola. I feel like you've done so much for me. I'm really grateful.
Don't trust her.
All right. I'll see you around.
She's terrible.
And for the love of everything, be careful.
She's an android. Don't believe her. Yeah, so Devila and Popola were the stewards, the androids entrusted with the Gestalt program. And look how well it went. Everything went according to Keikaku. Couple of dum-dums. Devila and Popola. Bunch of hooligans. But those murdery
Half above the
tendencies, maybe
entrance to
aim
the
better.
shop
Yeah,
should
yeah.
lead to
Point
the
them at
boat
Devila
landing.
and Popola. Point them Devo Popo
Excellent to
bound.
know the canal is finished. Hopefully this puts our days of running all over behind us.
It doesn't.
The faster we can move, the faster we can save Yona.
Water
Let's use
time.
it as often as we need.
You bet. You betcha. Oh. Good control. Good control of that point redeem button. Thank you for redeeming the hydrate, Frontier Jazz. Thank you for redeeming control. And now I have sustained my body ever so slightly for another cycle. Slytherin's not here, so you help. Thank you. I appreciate that. When I move into the new place, by the way, we're spraying with water and he's biting it. If I wouldn't make a huge mess, I would just like crush the bottle and just for the few seconds that all of it cascades all over me. But I don't want to have to clean it up. I'll be real with you guys. Comedy only goes so far. But yeah, when I get the new place, ideally, I'm going to have like an entertainment unit that will have my television and my computer on it so that I can see both without having to turn my whole body to see when people sub and see when people do stuff. That's honestly the thing I'm most excited about. You know. That isn't comedy, that's a new calendar photo. I mean, do I pull a what's his face? Markiplier? Do I pull a Markiplier and then do like a sexy calendar and one of them is me doing bar garble? What a break in technology.
Hey, look who it is.
Yeah. It'll be nice because at the moment my TV's over here, my ring light's over here, and my computer's back there. And so every time you see me go like this, I'm reading my computer screen to see all the stuff that doesn't actually show up on the screen for me. So, blech. And yes, I do remember you.
That red bag. By my pages, you're the slovenly half of that couple who refused to stop arguing.
Hey, it's been a while.
You would be honor bound to buy it, that's true.
Sure
At that point, you're
has.
locked in.
I've been in charge of this canal since we last talked.
The Markiplier is a chiseled Adonis, however, and while I looked really good, like really good for someone who never exercises, like 50 pounds ago, that's gone. Starting in August, I'm going to start doing Ring Fit again to try and get a handle on this.
Apparently I did a pretty good job with it because they decided to make me the permanent ferryman.
Did you sub earlier? What? No, that doesn't. It didn't show up in my activity feed. Did you choose to share it? Well, gosh darn. Thanks for the sub, Nikki. Welcome back to the PP Poo Poo Squad. It's a working title. I'll change it later. I've kept your seat warm by practicing my Hadoken over and over again. It's downright fierce, and now it should be comfortable for you. You're welcome. Permanent ferryman. Yeah, sure. That's great for you. Totally going to be doing this your entire life. Yeah, absolutely. There's
Congrats.
if you get any fortune cookies telling you to check out giant shipwrecks, you should probably not. Oh, the Twitch is doing the Dum Dum Monster. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. Well, yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thanks. Still, it's not all puppies and unicorns. The old ball and chain is always harping on me now about how much I work.
We gotta put a stop to this.
Anyway, if you got a place to be,
I don't
just
like
let
it.
me know and I'll take you there.
Ah, the old battle axe, the old ball and chain. Like, stop it. And I know I said that before. I know I did. I was paying attention. Actually, you know what? No. We're not doing that. We're not going to. Not yet. You like supporting cool people when you can? Well, thank you for thinking I'm cool. Gosh, that's not where I wanted to jump off. Jesus. Jesus Louises. How much money do I have? Probably a bunch. It should be enough to buy more weapons. I'm going to start buying weapons, but not today. Unfortunately, this is going to be the last NieR stream for a bit. And I think I'm gonna end the stream here. I think I don't want to get locked down on anything just yet. So when we come back, we'll have a clear goal. Antidotal weed. Well, yeah, I picked up an antidotal weed while I was wondering about my money. You looking forward to some Ratchet? Yeah. So going forward, we're going to be doing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart until I beat it, and then I'm not going to stream again until sometime in September once I've fully moved into my new place. So yeah, I'll do the outro. Thank you everyone for coming to the stream. I appreciate everyone who showed up. I appreciate everyone who stayed even more. If you like me, you can follow me. You can follow me on Twitch at Pale_Voyager, or you can join the Discord. These are two places to see what I'm up to, when I'm going to stream next, and what the community is doing. So the next stream is going to be on Sunday at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. We're going to be playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And until then, I hope you guys take the sweetest care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for linking the Discord, Papa Beat Loaf. So let's see if we can raid G-Wolf. Right? That was the plan. Is he still going? He's not. He's not doing it. But we haven't raided Combo Hugs in a while, and right now he's streaming Alien Isolation. So we're gonna do that. Let's give him a raid. For those of you sticking around, maybe say hi, drop an apple do or two, maybe a Dr. Kumbotnik, whatever you feel, whatever in your heart at that time, and let Combo Hugs know that we love him. With that said, that's it. Stream's over. Everybody out.